Kelly Whitmore, and I work with the Trustees of Reservations. It's a statewide land protection organization.
And I'm Trisha Cassidy. I am here as a Middleborough resident and in support of community preservation.
And it's relevant right now because it's question 5 on the ballot this November.
November 2nd, actually, which is a Tuesday. And we're hoping that all of you that are viewing this right now get out and vote for the Community Preservation Act. It's on the back side of the ballot also.
Yeah, and the Community Preservation Act is a state law that enables communities across Massachusetts to create a dedicated fund for the preservation of open space and historical resources, for the creation of community housing and outdoor recreation areas.
That's right. And here in Middleborough, that's important because we have needs in all of those areas. And so we have we have places that are historically important in Middleborough, and places that are important to me, such as Oliver Mill Park, the Tom Thumb Museum, the Robbins Archaeological Museum, and just the downtown area has a wealth of historic structures.
Middleborough is beautiful. We have a lot of open space too.
It is.
And Middleborough and the Community Preservation Act can go towards the purchase of lands or the purchase of restrictions on lands to ensure that they're permanently preserved forever, to hold on to the rural character of Middleborough.
Right, so some of those open spaces could be agricultural lands, they could be for water protection or protecting just our major rivers.
Yeah, CPA also supports community housing, and in Middleborough, CPA could pay for a housing plan so Middleborough could determine its housing needs. And outdoor recreation, wasn't there a study done?
Yes, there was a study done with consideration for outdoor recreation. In 2003, it was called a field study, and they saw that there were definitely needs for other fields, for football and soccer, and even for the girls softball team.
And that was in 2003?
2003, right. So that was 7 years ago. That's quite a while ago, and we were at capacity then for some of these field areas. So I can just imagine now we need it even more.
Right. So, to the nitty-gritty of CPA, the Community Preservation Act creates a dedicated fund for these specific uses. And that fund comes from, the sources of the fund comes from 2 places. One is through a surcharge on local property tax bills. In Middleborough, the surcharge would be 1%, and I think the average household would pay
$23 for the year.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good investment.
Right.
For $23 a year. The other source of funds is through the state. There's fees at the Registry of Deeds, and so the state uses those funds each year to match the dollars that are raised in locally.
And then it goes into that fund.
Right.
And we're able to, have that money dedicated to all of these preservation efforts. So,
right.
The historic, the community housing, open space, or recreation.
Right. And the CPA also creates a local community preservation committee. So it's that committee that solicits ideas and projects from the community, and then they recommend those projects to town meeting. And then
locally, the citizens here in Middleborough can decide whether or not they are in favor of that project and for the funds to be spent for that type of project.
Right. So every community decides on how they want to use their CPA funds. And I think that's why 143 communities have adopted the CPA, and why none of them have revoked the CPA.
And that's a very good point. And we have 351 towns, so 143 to have it is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it's over a third.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah.
And some of the neighboring communities that have it are Plimpton and Carver.
Yep. and West Bridgewater,
That's right.
and Dighton, and I can't think of any other. Oh well,
And Hanson.
and Hanson,
And
right?
Hanson has it. Yeah.
West Bridgewater. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is gaining popularity here in Southeastern Mass, and as you know, Southeastern Mass is one of the more it's being developed quickly.
Yeah.
Even in this recession, there's still a lot of pressure for development. Not that we don't want development, we like some development. It's there as a tool so that we can protect some of these areas and develop others.
Right. I think it's the best tool in the toolbox that communities have for preserving what they want to preserve. And folks can learn more about the CPA
On our we have a website,
Yeah.
the Citizens Committee. It's www.preservemiddleborough, and that's Middleborough with the OUGH at the end, .org. So if you go there, you can find out more, and I guess
look for it on your ballot.
look for it on the ballot on November 2nd.
Question 5.